The woman angrily flipped the food-laden table, then slapped her father-in-law hard. When her husband intervened, she lifted him by the shoulders and slammed him to the ground. The reason for all this was that both her husband and father-in-law were habitual abusers. Since the day she entered this house, they tried to dominate her. Her father-in-law had even killed her mother-in-law in front of her, but they didn't know they were inviting their own downfall. This woman was no ordinary person. She was a top-tier lawyer and a 5-time national Sanda champion. Her mission was to bring justice for women and teach abusive men a lesson. If an abuser tried to escape in a car, she'd rip off the door and throw it 500 meters. If someone hid inside, she'd lift the whole car and slam it down. Due to her aggressive personality, she had no boyfriend. Her aunt thought marriage might soften her temperament a bit. That's why she arranged her relationship with a man in the very first meeting. The man was very happy. He looked like a very noble and gentleman. He was also tagged as a philanthropist, but in reality, this man was inside. He was very dirty. Not only was he involved in the shady business, but he was a spoiled one, Huarai Sajada, and was also a violent user. His first wife was killed at his hands. But this woman did not know her real truth, and she was going to marry him the very next day. There the boy's hole. The family had already made plans to make this woman their maid. After marriage, the boy insisted that he take her directly to his house. Because all the maids in the house had run away before he was beaten. As soon as the woman stepped into the courtyard of the house, she turned around. The security guards behind him couldn't control himself. A strange feeling in his heart. Curiosity arose, but then suddenly the last remaining maid of the house accidentally asked her. At that moment, she realized that something was wrong. The frightened maid, she immediately fell on her knees, begging for mercy. The man quickly constructed a lie. He fed a lie that her husband had been beating her for years, which led to her depression. She went into it and the woman believed her without suspicion. But as soon as both of them came out of there, the bodyguards knocked the maid unconscious. When the woman met her in-laws for the first time, the father-in-law sent her straight to the kitchen, asked her to show off her cooking skills, and invited the whole family over for dinner, ordered her to prepare extra dishes for the meal. Poor Sansa, who already suffered a lot, was afraid that if the new daughter-in-law made a mistake, she might also get punished. That's why she's also running. She offered to help in the kitchen, but the woman noticed the bruises on her arm. Sansa quickly made an excuse. Nothing much. I fell down. It has nothing to do with your father-in-law or husband. The woman didn't ask many questions and started preparing a delicious meal quickly. But as soon as the food reached the table, the relatives started taunting. Only 10 dishes? This isn't enough for us. Make 10 more. You don't even know the rules of the house. Even after she said something in defense. When the mother-in-law spoke in defense, the house's eunuch immediately commanded, kneeling and facing the punishment. But now she's not staying. She was about to interrupt when her husband quickly grabbed her hand and said, "Anyone who makes a mistake here gets punished, even if it's my mother." But she wasn't scared. Instead, she took full control. But the woman wasn't scared. Instead, she took complete control in her hands. Without a second's hesitation, she smacked the father-in-law's cheek so hard that the whole hall fell silent. The entire hall fell into a stunned silence when she fiercely slapped the father-in-law's cheek. How could the new daughter-in-law be so ruthless? Little did he know this was just the beginning of a nightmare.